The Timmy Chang Show is brought to you by Hawaiian Financial Federal Credit Union, HGEA, Spectrum, HCAMP, Enjoy Snacks, Fujitsu, Hawaii Dental Service, Ruby Tuesday, Hawaii Pacific Health, Popeyes, Castle Resorts and Hotels, and HawaiiUSA Federal Credit Union.
Yeah, all right. The very first Timmy Chang Show of 2024. And of course, John Veneri here.
Mark Veneri here.
And
Timmy Chang.
There we go, Coach Chang. How about a big hand for Coach Chang? All right, Coach.
Yeah.
Let's just jump right into it. We got a jam-packed hour. We got a couple of coaches to talk. We got a beat writer to talk. We got you to talk. So let's start off with year number 3. It's already begun. Fall camp is done. How are you feeling?
It's finally here. You know, there's a lot of work and preparation that goes into it. A lot of behind the scenes. The guys are doing, unbelievable. They've had a great off season since January, and they're putting in a lot of hard work. And so it's finally time to go play and go get the season rolling.
Now, Coach, for yourself, how do you feel? I know this is year number 3 for you. How do you feel with this group of guys and this team in particular?
Yeah, we're a lot more comfortable together for sure. We're talking to Shager. He looks really good. Getting a lot more comfortable, being in the pocket, seeing the coverages. He's got a really good coach in Dan Morrison. The receivers, Ashlock Revele, Alex Perry, Tylen Hines, Jonah Panoki, Kowali, those guys, they're getting more comfortable being in the system. The O-line is gelling with under Coach Derek Favi. The defense has looked really good under Coach Dennis Thurman. The linebackers, the secondary, our D-line, they're starting to come together. They're starting to play with a lot of energy, and so they get to finally go hit somebody else, and I think that's what they're most excited about.
Throughout this show, and it's great that you brought them up. In our next segment, we'll be talking with Coach Dan Morrison. He's here. We're going to be talking with Coach Dennis Thurman. He's here. We're going to go through lineups. We're going to talk opponent this week, who, by the way, I believe they've yet to get on a flight. They had some plane trouble after missing the bus, and they had plane trouble. So they're trying to get here. They're on like 3 different flights. But they will apparently be here for Saturday at the very least. So
yeah.
that's good. So we'll talk about them a little later. But real quick, Coach, just for you, you've got a couple of new coaches. You mentioned a couple of them. How are you feeling with the group of guys that you have around you now? Do you feel like the general with some great lieutenants around you now?
Yeah, I mean, having veteran coaches like Coach Morrison and Coach Thurman, Coach Reinbold, to add to the nucleus of some of the younger guys, Coach Pooh Robinson, my right-hand guy, and Chris Brown, Coach Ursua, bringing in Anthony Arsenal. I think we have a good nucleus again of coaches that really understand how to develop guys and take care of their guys on and off the field. I think that makes a big difference when you got some guys that care about others.
This is the Timmy Chang Show, but you're more than welcome to call or text 808-296-1420. You'll be able to do that throughout the show to each of the coaches that are here with us. We hope that we can get to it. I just want to know real quick, did you accomplish everything you needed to get done in fall camp?
Yeah, I think so. You never know until these situations all come up. Football's all about situations and trying to get you guys best prepared as possible to attack and on defense, offense, and special teams. Having veterans in there that have seen and gone through some of these things really helps. And as we get to the roster, we return a bunch of guys. We got more depth than we've ever had, and so You know, we're just hoping that we just stay healthy and we're able to execute on Saturday.
Coach, one of the biggest things in this off-season program was having that switch. You mentioned Chris Brown being your right-hand man, having him doing the strength and conditioning, bringing in Kenny Patton. Talk about that and how the guys have responded and getting bigger, stronger, and faster.
Yeah, they look a little different. You know, they put on weight. You know, we fed them more than I think the program has ever fed them in since being here. With Coach Kenny, you know, he's an alumni. He's a warrior. You know, he comes in with a great pedigree. I mean, I like to think that I was his first pupil that he taught how to run, and so he teaches a whole bunch of people in the community to run and kids to run. And so, you know, no different. He's teaching our guys with Coach Chris. If you ever seen him, I mean, he can tell the story. And so, you know, he's done a great job. I think the biggest thing is just the culture and what, you know, having those type of guys around, especially with our staff and the type of staff we have. You know, loving up on our guys, getting our guys to understand that it's about the guy next to them and having them play for each other, and everything we do, it's about the team. And so I think having that type of group around our players really matters, and we hope that it pays off this season.
We set the stage. 296-1420 is the number to call or text in. Coach Timmy's going to sit in. Coming up next, Coach Dan Morrison is going to join Mark and Timmy up here on the hot seat. And we are going to talk offense. We're going to go through rosters and depth charts, and we're going to talk everything Rainbow Warriors coming up with the Hornets. You are watching and listening to the Timmy Chang Show.
This is the Timmy Chang Show, presented by ESPN Honolulu, K-High, and KHON2.
Welcome back to the Timmy Chang Show. Joining me and Coach Timmy, and now is a guy well known in Hawaii football. Coached a few Hawaii high schools, one of them being my alma mater, and then made his first stint at the University of Hawaii from 1999 to 2007. After coaching with Coach June Jones at UH, he went to a number of different stops, including professional football, but we are happy he made his way back home to Hawaii and now is serving as the quarterbacks coach. We welcome to the show Coach Dan Morrison. Coach. By the way, if you have any questions for the coaches, text or call us at 296-1420. That's 808-296-1420. Coach, Let's take a look at the quarterback position. You've been working very closely with them. Let's talk about the quarterbacks.
Okay. Well, one of the unique things is that the 4 quarterbacks that are getting most of the reps right now, it's the smallest group we've ever had, but they are so talented all the way from top to bottom. They're all ready to go, and even the ones that aren't getting quite as many reps as they're getting the reps now, they haven't dropped off at all, and they've taken the roles on that they have. They've been really good, and I think at this point, any one of those 4 could go into a game and be very respectable and give us the situation we need to have from them.
And now obviously with Braden Shager as the guy who's leading the helm, you got in a chance to work with him hand in hand. How has he been grasping this offense? How has he been taking this offense and just running with it?
Well, he started with it just working on all the little details of just his drops and where his eyes go. But he's grown into being a quarterback that's at such a high level. The balls are coming out quite differently now. And he's doing everything he's being asked to do. So he's really bought into the offense, which is really important. And he's bought into it. If you've been out and see any of his throws, he's got to be one of the best in the country in what he's doing. And so he's very impressive. He's got an impressive receiving core around him. And it's going to be real fun to watch him grow.
It's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
Well, with Coach Braden Shager, obviously the guy at the helm, you also have John Kiavi Sangapolutele, Micah Alejado, Jake Farrell as well, guys that can be very capable of running the offense too. But you also have them slotted in to potentially, if Braden goes down, they can step in as well.
Yeah, and that was what we were trying to do with them. Normally in this offense, because it's such a quarterback-centric offense, you want at least 3 guys that can go out and actually win for you as opposed to just finish games. And I think, Ray, it could evolve into where all 4 can do that. And that's unusual that you go that deep, that they can all have that ability to go in and be successful and help win games.
Well, you got to have guys to throw to. And this receiving core, I've had a chance to see Hawaii football for a while now. But this receiving core could be very special with a lot of talented guys. You talk about depth for the receiving core. Talk about this receiving group that you have.
Well, the biggest thing about this receiving core, as opposed to the ones that we had in the early 2000s, is the depth of them. There's just so many more receivers that are really talented, that go deep. Now, we had very good receivers, as you know, in those years, but the depth of them is different here. And they're going 3 deep on X and 3 deep on Z, and 2 and 3 deep in the slots. That's different. So they can go, and if somebody needs a breather or something, there's no drop off at all. And they all have, and again, same thing. They're all buying into it. They're all trying to do all the details correctly. They're working at it very hard, and they're very close as a group. So they're going to be good.
And talking from the outside in with the X, Y, and Z, how does that work? Because I know you guys label the receivers a little bit different. Those who don't understand, talk about that labeling of the receivers.
Well, the 2 outside receivers are X and Z, and the 2 slots inside are Y and H. And they know where their positions are. We can move them around a little bit, but they get to know what their position is. So the X's and the Z's, they're working on just them being outside wide receivers. The slots are working on different things inside. So they're unique in the sense that they're just trying to work on where they are and what they're trying to do. And what they're doing is pretty sophisticated. And that they have the ability to do it, and they're working at it, and they're getting better all the time.
And you have guys like Pofele Ashlock coming back, Alex Perry, Jonah Panoke, who's been in it. Any of these guys stand out in camp? Has anybody stood out in camp that really could be the difference maker for this team?
It's funny. At times, it's different on different days. Different guys, all of a sudden, just because the ball's going to them a little bit more on that day. And another day, it's a different kid. So, and that's a good thing, because you don't want to get into a situation where you're limited to this one real good receiver, because they'll do everything they can to take him away. It's hard to take these receivers away because there's 3 other guys on the field that are really good. So the depth of the thing is unique, and what these kids have become is unique. So hopefully it will unfold this Saturday and go from there.
There you go. The next, in one of the most important positions, is protection. You got to have an offensive line that protects well and does their job well. Bringing in Derek Fa'avi has been phenomenal. You guys have both talked about how adding him to the piece of the puzzle has been great. Talk about the offensive line.
Well, I've watched them grow dramatically under Derek, and he's a unique individual because some of the things we do in this offense are unique. Not many people know it. Derek played in it. He understands it. He knows it. So he not only teaches the schematic aspects of it, but the technique aspect of it, and he's really good at it. This line is getting better and better as it goes along, and I've seen a lot of improvement in them. And they're getting excited about what they're doing. It's fun for them.
And having Derek Fa'avi as the guy who understands the protection and understands where everybody needs to be, I bet that's a big plus too.
Yeah, Derek, that was my center, and so him coming back home, bringing his family back here, it's pretty special. Again, it's a guy that knows the roots of Hawaii football, but as well as knows the intricate scheme that we run, and he's done an unbelievable job. I mean, he's got thrown in mid-spring ball, and he's responded. And what's beautiful, the guys responded, and so made some key adjustments. Kuapeopa moved over there, and as well as the depth that we have there, we're excited about him.
Derek Fa'avi, I've been told, is one of the smartest guys that you've ever played with. How true is that?
Yeah, Derek is, I think it's that Campbell education, as he would say, But I really think that he's fascinating. I mean, the guy went to Japan, played in Japan. We were just literally in the office talking about him. He walks in and he's fluent in Japanese, and he gets it. He understands. He knows he has a good sense of humor, but he knows how to coach his guys. He knows how to reach his guys. They really, really loved our former coach, and it was hard for him to come in that building and right away and implement, but he just kind of won them over time, and I watch those guys as they work and trying to get better. You can see the big improvement that he's had, and he's got them working, and so I'm really excited for really everybody to see what we've been doing with the offensive line.
And the offensive line is complemented by, with the run and shoot, there's also the run. So talk about the running back room. I know Landon Sims has been a big staple point in that, but talk about the running backs.
The running back is unique in this offense because they are really intricately involved in the pass protection. So they have to be a particular type of young man. And they're a little bigger, stouter, but they also have to be a pretty good running back. And that's historically been the case in this offense. These kids have all been that, and they're all coming to be along that way. They're getting very involved in the pass protection, but they're also getting very involved in the running game. And they have a duality about them that doesn't always exist in football. Some running backs are like scat back running backs, and that's what they are. Some guys are more fullback types. These guys are a blend of both, and they do a nice job of that. So they're fun to be around too.
How cool is it to have both of you guys coaching together?
I enjoy it every single day. I promise you. And I'm very grateful. And he's been with my mentor and with Coach Jones for a long period of time. And it just so happens things line up, and he's been gracious enough to come home to Hawaii and take on the quarterback room. But I think the thing that we all enjoy is that we all benefit, not just the players, but the coaches as well. Everybody that he's been around. I mean, he's running into his former Punahou students, and they all love and have great stories about Coach Morrison. But it's just been awesome.
I appreciate both of you guys joining us, Coach Morrison, Coach Timmy, the offense. Can't wait for that. We have to take a quick break. John and Timmy are back next with the defensive side of the ball and Coach Dennis Thurman. This is the Timmy Chang Show.
This is the Timmy Chang Show, presented by ESPN Honolulu, K-High, and KHON2.
All right, welcome back to the Timmy Chang Show. We're going to get to the defensive side of the ball, and the man in charge has a fabulous coaching resume. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape. Dennis Thurman played his college ball at USC. He went on then to player for both the Dallas Cowboys and the St. Louis Cardinals, as they were back in 1986. Then coaches in the NFL and college levels, served under Deion Sanders at both Jackson State and Colorado, before making his way all the way out here in the Pacific to the islands. We welcome Coach Dennis Thurman to the Timmy Chang Show.
Thank you.
Okay. First off, I know that you've been here and you've been consumed with football. How in the heck did you get all the way out here to the islands is what I want to know first.
I flew.
That's a good. Swimming would have been dangerous, yes.
I don't like the ocean.
You told me a great story at practice, though, and I appreciate your humor. But Coach Dan Morrison had a little something to do with it, didn't he?
Well, yeah. He, going all the way back, I've known Dan since I was like 10 years old. And he used to replace the sports guy at the elementary school that we used to all go to and play in the summer. And so Dan used to take over for Bob Hillen, who was the crew coach at USC at the time. So when he went on vacation, Dan became the coach on the playground when we were all playing baseball. And we went up there every day. I mean, it was like the place to be. And so Dan and I have had a relationship and a friendship since, like I said, I was about 10 years old. And he actually was my quarterback coach in high school. So we've known one another for a long time. And we often talked about once, obviously he was in coaching while I was playing. I got out of, when I finished my career as a player, we often talked about coaching together once I got into coaching. And so this is the one opportunity that has presented itself for us to come together and coach together.
That's awesome. That's great. And this is a great get.
Yeah, I would think so.
It's a great get.
No, yeah, Coach Dennis, his pedigree. I mean, I had the joy of coaching. I was at the D3, and I was able to stop in for a training camp and do the Bill Walsh minority internship, and the Anthony Lynn of the Buffalo Bills, Rex Ryan, and just so happens he's the defensive coordinator there at Buffalo while I'm interning and learning about running back play. And
That's
so.
great.
And it's full circle. And so, I was at Jackson State. He ends up at Jackson State with Deion. Just so happened our analyst and graduate assistant at Nevada, who I'm very close and tight with, they end up going to Jackson State as well. One of the guys that I became close with and is like a brother to me, he's coaching he's from Jackson. He ends up coaching and making a connection. So, along the way, I called him, and then I was checking up on DT and seeing how he was doing, and phone call led to the next, and so he's interested in coming to Hawaii. But I mean, it's all faith. I mean, like the connection that he has with Dan, and again, it's just a blessing to have them both here.
Absolutely. Okay, this text message is for you, Coach Thurman. What base defense are you running?
4-2, 4-2-5.
There you go, 4-2-5.
And that's all they're gonna get.
I love the answer, because what you've done is you've actually simplified it for the Rainbow Warrior defense.
We have simplified a lot of things, but it won't look simple once the game starts on Saturday.
Got it. Kill the guy with the football. That's easy.
That is our philosophy.
All right. Let's talk about some of those guys that will be trying to get to the ball carrier on defense. Let's take a look at the defensive line depth chart first. How about that? Okay, Coach, maybe you could go through it. You've got some guys both at the end, or the rush, as you call them, the nose tackle, the tackle, and then, of course, the end, trying to get to the quarterback. These are great. Maybe, Timmy, you can also add into this, but this is a great group of guys.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're a veteran group that they played a lot of football for the most part. The thing about us is that I don't want to sit on the line of scrimmage and play passive. I believe in playing an aggressive style of football on defense. And so we're going to get after people. And I believe we have the type of players that are capable, more than capable, of getting after people, both versus the run and the pass. So I'm excited to watch these guys play.
For those that may not have noticed and were just trying to read the names, what's great about that is you got 4 at every position. That means that group is deep.
Yeah, they, it takes time to build your roster, and here they are. You know what I mean? We just hope they stay healthy, and that's our job. It's just try to keep them healthy, get them ready. It's been an ongoing process since January, but we like our depth. We like where we have at end. We have some veteran guys. A lot of juniors, a lot of sophomores, a lot of freshmen, guys that got some playing time, guys that didn't, that were looking to expand their roles, and then D tackle room led by Ezra. I think they could be pretty good too.
There's that 4. Let's go to the first 2. That's the linebackers, Coach. I know you're excited about that group. Let's take a look at that depth chart.
Well, yeah. I mean, we have talent. The one thing that I believe everything starts with is talent, and we have some talented individuals. Are we as deep as I'd like to be? No. But we have some first-line guys that can play the game of football, and the plan is to showcase the talent. And people talk about it's coaching. You have to have talent to coach. And like I often say, you show me a Hall of Fame coach, and I'll show you a coach who's coached Hall of Fame players. So it's not about the coaches per se. It's really about the players. And if you have something to work with, then you allow them to go out and do the things that they're capable of doing. And so it's all about them. If we don't play well, I'll take the heat. But if we play well, it's all about the players.
That's great. I like that philosophy. And one guy back that is excited about being back is Logan Taylor.
Yeah, Logan's the alpha, and he leads our defense. Vocal guy, spiritual guy that gets everybody going. But that linebacker room, Jalen Smith, Jemiah Otis will turn some heads. Nalu Emerson, Noah Kemma, those guys can all play, and so they'll run around and fly around and look to hunt the quarterback.
Love that. Okay, let's move to the secondary position. Let's take a look at that depth chart. Coach, if you don't mind going through that a little bit.
Well, yeah, we have some guys that can play. Peter obviously is a returning starter, a guy that we look to lead that group, be one of the leaders. And then we have Sinclair, Justin Sinclair, who's done a great job, and he's coming along. And so when you look at our safety room, they're very multiple, and we're going to ask them to do a lot of different things, from covering and covering.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to give you the game plan, but
no, I know the team's not listening; they're not here yet, but I understand.
In case someone else is listening.
Yeah, there you go. Got it.
I don't give away secrets.
No, yep.
Okay.
I appreciate that. That's really good. Just your overall thought on how well the team has come along, the defense has come along, and where you're at headed into. We're 3 days out.
Well, we're night and day above where we were when we first started. The guys have taken to the system, and they're understanding their jobs a lot better. And all we really ask them to do on every call is they have one job to do on that particular play. Do it to the best of your ability. And if all 11 are doing their job simultaneously, we have a chance to stop people and have a really, really good defense.
I appreciate you being here. I know that you're a very busy man. Both of you are, really, but this is your show, so you got to be here. Coach, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it.
Can I say one thing?
Absolutely can.
The reason why I didn't talk about individuals, can't pronounce some of them names.
Just go by numbers. That's all right. All right, coming up next, star advertiser, beat writer Stephen Tsai is going to join us. He's been to just about every game since the beginning of time, so we're going to talk to him about his thoughts about the show. Coach, real quick, since Coach Dennis has already ran away and left us, that's a pretty darn good defense.
Yeah, the defense wins championships, and so they're our energy, they're our emotion. You from the offense, you'll get what you get, right? It's just methodical on how we try to move the ball, we try to throw the ball, we try to run the ball, we try to protect the quarterback, get the run game going. You see them be physical on the perimeter, but the defense it's all about their emotion and their energy. A lot of the time, I'm glad we're playing another opponent, because a lot of the time I'm trying to not have them kill everybody, and so but they're fired up, they're ready to go, and like I was looking at the depth chart. I mean, there's a lot of local boys with a lot of mainland boys mix. So it's a good deal.
Stephen Tsai up next. This is the Timmy Chang Show.
This is the Timmy Chang Show, presented by ESPN Honolulu, KHI, and KHON2.
All right, welcome back to the Timmy Chang Show. We've given Coach Timmy Chang a little break, but that means that we have welcomed into the show for the very first time, we welcome sports beat writer from the Star Advertiser, Stephen Tsai. Woohoo, Stephen. Okay, tell everybody, Stephen, how long have you actually been covering Rainbow Warrior football?
43 years.
43. How long?
43?
43
You know why I'm laughing,
years.
right, John?
I know, because I know exactly why.
I know.
So,
He's been doing it longer than I've been alive.
oh, ouch, ouch. Why did you have to say that while
I'm
he's
sorry.
sitting next to you?
I
He
knew,
knows I love
knew
him,
Timmy
that's
when he was Timmy, and then when he became Tim, then he became Timmy again.
Oh, okay, so that's a long time.
That's a long time.
We play with Stephen because Stephen travels, we don't travel together, but we travel alongside each other most of the time, and we use Stephen's flight benefits to get us into the United Club.
And in turn, we all go to Bath and Body Works.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I know this is radio, but we smell good.
We do smell good. If we had smell-o-vision, you'd smell us right there. Okay, let's get started. You've been covering this team. You're there almost every day. I would just like to know your thoughts on the transformation of Braden Shager as a quarterback, even from last year to this point. But your thoughts on Braden Shager?
I think he's just really matured, and a lot of it had to do with Coach Morrison. He really bonded with the guy they call Coach Smooth, and he knew him from Dallas. They worked out together in Dallas, and I think he just really kind of grew there, and he became a better person. And there was, I think, a 3-day period where Braden decided to enter the transfer portal, but I think in those 3 days he kind of missed what he had, and I think that he's come back as a more mature person, the guy who's more appreciative of Hawaii and his role on the team.
Does that really, I guess you could say, do you think the team has responded to that as well when he came back, just having that sense of leadership in him, and you can kind of see that on the field as well?
Yeah, and I think there was a lot of hurt feelings when people abandon you, but then he came back, and every day he's kind of earned their trust back, and I think it's really, really helped, and he's a good guy, and it'll be a continuing thing to keep working on building that trust, but I think As long as he keeps throwing those Shaker bombs, I guess he'll get it back.
Love it. Love the Shaker bomb. I mean, you're right. He left, and I don't necessarily think that the players were hurt as much as fans were kind of disappointed that he would leave. But he is back, and he's back and better than ever, I think.
I think so. And the main thing was, I think a lot of people said, well, he left, but did he have other offers? He had 3 other offers, and he's a really good quarterback. He was the top passer last year in the Mountain West, and getting him back was just a huge thing for Hawaiian, and I think it was huge for him, it's huge for his family, and I think it's really huge for his teammates because I think they're really going to benefit.
63% passer, over 3,500 yards through the air, had a ton of touchdowns. Let's talk about this real quick because Coach Timmy has allowed a number of both former coaches and players to come and have input. Your thoughts on June Jones coming back, Dennis McKnight coming back. Your thoughts on that?
And even Dan Morrison coming back.
Of course.
Right.
To actually coach, yes.
Right. But what I like about it is that everybody always talks about, well, your players are your best ambassadors. I think former players are your best ambassadors because they shared experience. And also I think having coaches come back and trying to show things. And I think a lot of people, especially with June, there was sort of a bad breakup. But they accepted him back, and it's not easy to get June back. June's kind of a particular person, but to have him come back and help out the team, that's huge, and I think it's really brings the whole offense full circle.
And they've just done a fabulous job of being able to kind of shore up the kinks, get the kinks out, get rid of the rust, and become a true run and shoot.
Right, and I think everyone associates June with being a great quarterback receivers coach, but he's actually a really good offensive line coach. And I think a lot of times when they brought him in, they started to help correct things on the offensive line, and I think he's really helped over there.
The biggest question mark, I guess a lot of people have questions on it, is kind of the defensive secondary in terms of the depth chart and seeing who's going to be out there. There's a lot of players that can play, but the defensive secondary has kind of been that question mark. Your thoughts?
Yeah, well, and that's actually the most experienced group. And the thing is, they have a lot of depth there, but because of a lot of injuries and everything, they're having to use that depth, and that's some of the problem when you'd rather have your depth, on the side waiting to get in. But that's why you build a roster. That's why you recruit so many players. And right now there are a lot of key players who probably won't play in this game, but there are a lot of guys stepping up, and it's their chance to really step up and make an impression.
I like the thought of that too, because there are guys that are maybe at one position that can fill in at at cornerback, that can fill in at a safety position. They're multi-talented. They can do either or.
Right, and the cross-training, everything has really helped this team, and I think now you'll see guys sort of stepping up in leadership roles, and not having Burdell there for a lot of practices, I think it's made the cornerback room really good and really competitive.
I think where there's no question marks, and I know when we were talking to Coach Dan and Coach Timmy, that receiving group, and I'm going to say it over and over again, I think that receiving group has a chance to be very special.
I think so, and again, they've lost 2 significant players, 2 starters, and yet they've got a lot of guys. I think they're at least 3 deep at each of the 4 positions. Yeah. And I think it's going to be a little bit different from how the old June Jones offenses were, where they'd have 4 guys go the entire game. I think we're going to see maybe 10, 12 receivers in each game.
The 2 guys that you're referring to are Chucky Hines and Stephen McBride. Those 2 guys are not eligible to play right now. Chucky Hines actually is not even on the team. But what you said real quick about them being deep, I do believe, first of all, you and I have talked on the side, all 3 of us have talked on the sideline during practices and scrimmages. I'm really excited about some of those guys, including the rotation that they have going on at slot back. And DeKel Crowdis from Kentucky runs some amazing routes.
Right, and giving guys a chance, and they have different combinations they can use. They can go Tylen Hines, and they can go DeKel and go really fast. They can go with the possession receivers with Carson and Spencer Curse. There's just a lot of different things that they can do, and I think giving people a chance, giving them game reps really helps. I think it was about 30 years ago, they gave this guy, this slot back from Kamehameha, John Veneri, a chance, and he showed his stuff, and not only did he show his stuff, he showed his post-game speaking stuff, and that's why he's sitting here today.
My daughter's in the crowd. She's like,
if it wasn't for those post-game interviews, I don't know who'd be sitting here.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. You're taking a look at the depth chart right there. Tylen Hines on the outside, as opposed to being a slot. Well, we kind of all thought that would happen, but he's pretty good outside.
Right, and he gives a lot of speed over there. He's running by DBs and stuff like that. I'm not sure if it's a great thing if he's running by DBs in practices, but
Right.
hopefully that'll translate into the game.
And Spencer Curtis has been a really welcomed addition from Nevada, who's come over and really grasped the offense as well.
Yeah, I still can't understand how Nevada struggled last year when Spencer Curtis was on that team and Deion Washington is really doing well for Hawaii. Then now is on the team. So they've got some quality players over there, but it's fortunate for Hawaii that they're playing for Hawaii now.
Something real quick, we've got about a minute left. Something that you're most excited about, or maybe it's just the start of the season, or just anything.
I'm just excited about people coming back and connecting with the past and everything. We've seen guys like Leonard Peters who never shows up. He's showing up at practices. Chevin Cordero, who had left under those tough times and sort of led to that.
He was at a scrimmage.
Yeah, he was at scrimmage. And, so was Leonard Lee, who's kind of represented all those, that era, that bad breakup era. And seeing everybody healing, seeing everybody come back into the family. I mean, they talk about a brotherhood, but it seems like they're actually living the brotherhood.
All right. 296-1420 is the number to call or text. We thank Stephen Tsai. How about a big hand for Stephen Tsai? Coach Timmy's going to rejoin Mark and I up here. We're going to answer some questions. We're going to talk Delaware State. That's all next on the Timmy Chang Show.
This is the Timmy Chang Show, presented by ESPN Honolulu, KHI, and KHON2.
All right, back here at Ruby Tuesday, our gracious host for the Timmy Chang Show throughout the season. Just to answer a question from Julie from Kailua. Yes, this is being streamed live right now, both on the radio and on YouTube. You got to go to ESPN Honolulu. But if you want to watch the TV broadcast of this show, it'll be on KHI tomorrow night at 6 p.m. and then again on KHON2 on Friday night at 10:30. But for the Friday night listing, you'll have to check your local listing because sometimes it'll air at 8 p.m. But you got us here live on the radio. We're here at every game, and we're here every week, every Wednesday before a home game. Coach Timmy Chang rejoining us. We got a text message. It says, "Hey, Coach Timmy, it's Timmy. Miss you, buddy. Question is, who are some under-the-radar names who we can expect to see make a big impact this season that we might not have seen last year? Also, I'll be making the trip over to Pullman in October. See you then."
Right, is that my buddy Timmy that worked at Duke's?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that's our guy, man. And so, what's up, Timmy? Maybe DeKel. You know, I think with the absence of Steven, Here comes another transfer guy in DeKalb that's going to be outside receiver that is fast and can run.
Yep.
But there again, like we looked at the depth chart, then you got Thailand outside there, you got AP, you got Jonah, Carson, and even Spence, transfer from Nevada, will hold its own. And so, I mean, it's pretty exciting. I mean, the guys can go.
I'm also excited to see, Coach, the running back field. With Cam Barfield, he has a little twitchiness to him.
Yeah.
We've seen him in the scrimmage. Of course, you can't forget Landon Sims as well. Can we possibly see a 1,000-yard back? I mean, we haven't seen one in quite some time, but I know we've had that in the past with the run and shoot.
I don't know that, can't predict the future, but I know that they are talented. Yeah, with Landon, Cam Barfield, Dave Padero. They do a lot of different things. They'll probably equal. I mean, you add them all up, probably equal more than 1,000. I'm assuming, but they're pretty special. We asked them to do a lot. Miles Davis and Dan reminds us about how they used to call him the superback. And so, pass blocking, running the ball, catching the ball. We asked him to do everything. Barry Sanders once played in this offense. And so you go look at Barry's numbers within this offense. That's really the potential of the back.
About ready to start your third season, Coach. Rainbow Warriors are 8-18 overall, 5-11 in the Mountain West under you and your staff. Picked to finish 9th this year in the preseason poll headed into the year. Opening the season at home against an FCS opponent in Delaware State. This is the first time since 2009 that you've done that. That was Central Arkansas back then. The Hornets were 1-10 last season and finished dead last in the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, losing all 5 of their conference games. Hawaii has won the last 20 against FCS opponents. Just your thoughts real quick on Delaware State, should they make it? Hopefully they do by Saturday. Your thoughts on the Hornets?
Yeah, we're breaking them down. We're watching them on film. Feel really bad of the circumstances that they've had to endure. They were planning on coming in on Tuesday and enjoying our island, and they've had stuff planned, luau's and other things. And so, it's one of those things where you hope they get out there safely and hope they get to enjoy. Some of these players they don't get to visit our beautiful island unless they play sports or something like that takes them out here. But football wise, they're going to come in and you just never know what they have, especially the first game. Transfer portal, error and getting guys and new guys in. And so we have to be ready to play. What you know based on what they did last year, but it's a new year, and they're just as excited as we are to get the year started.
They are also an HBCU team, which many people may not know what that stands for, but it stands for Historically Black College and University. And the last time Hawaii played an HBCU team was Prairie View A&M back in 1979. This is a great opportunity for them, but this is also somewhat historic for the Hawaii program.
Sure. Yeah, a lot of rich history in the HBCU programs. When they're very proud of their football. When you talk about the history of football and the type of players that came out of their leagues, the MEAC, the SWAC, that's some high level, Hall of Famers, college Hall of Famers, professional Hall of Famers, and so they're really proud of their history and their rich tradition. And it's exciting for us to get to play them.
Regardless of the record, Coach, of them having a 1-10 record last season, making sure the guys are right. I'm sure they're hungry, first game, but how do you get their minds right, make sure they're in the right direction, playing a team like this?
It's a new season, right? Some of the guys, like you look at the Detroit Lions. At some point, they didn't win a bunch of games, and now all of a sudden you see them in the NFC Championship. I mean, it just happens, right? You're building something, and just like them, they're building something, and they're coming out here and they expect to win. And so, for us, it's just focusing on the details. We're going to lean on our experience, our veterans. Our guys that have been in the trenches, been in the wars. They've gone through battles. Our guys have gone through good and bad experiences, and so we just want to make sure that we execute, and that's what it really comes down to. All 3 phases executing.
Hornets scored 18 points per game last season. That ranked them at 102nd out of a possible 122 FCS teams. And they seem to do a little bit of everything, but they lost their biggest rusher, who averaged 5.1 yards per carry and 778 yards last season. They lost that running back, Markeith Gillis. But they got a couple other guys that can run the football, and they've got a quarterback that's pretty shifty.
Yeah, you know, they're going to be able to try to throw the ball and move guys around, you know, and misdirect us on defense. And so, but again, there's a transfer portal error, and so you know they're picking up guys on, and we're trying to scout them out and look to see who they got on defense, offense, and special teams, and really just trying to figure them out. But you know, I'm sure, you know, like any team, they all have weapons, and so it's our job to figure it out as fast as we can and go and execute.
And 181 yards per game, averaging through the air. With the defense and secondary kind of banged up, nicked up, we talked about a little bit of depth and moving guys around. How do you feel about some of the guys stepping up? Kilinahi Mendiola Jensen, Matangi Thompson coming back from injury. How do you feel about them getting the chance and getting this opportunity to play?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to them. You know, a guy like you mentioned Matangi Thompson, a guy that's been in our program for 3 years, gets an opportunity to go out there and play. Excited for him. Kilinahi coming back home by way of Punahou and UNLV, and also getting a chance to play in the back end due to Meki being down. And so, you know, it all starts with Peter back there. I think our corners are really good in Cam Stone and Caleb Brown. You know, I think they're going to present a challenge, you know, for teams to come. And so, you know, just it really is about us and focusing on us and getting better this Saturday.
Coming up next, we're going to finish things off. We have a quick break, and then we are going to say aloha to Coach, and we're going to give away a nice big prize from Enjoy Snacks. We're also going to say aloha to my broadcast partner, Mark Veneri. We'll see him on Saturday, or hear him if you're listening to the radio, which you should be. Mark, good job tonight.
Appreciate it.
I'll talk to you, I guess, after this.
I guess I'm pretty lucky to have him around, too.
You're watching and listening to The Timmy Chang Show.
This is the Timmy Chang Show, presented by ESPN Honolulu, KHI, and KHON2.
Chang, we are just a couple of days away from Delaware State Hornets, Saturday at the TC Ching Complex at 6 p.m. Coach, just your final thoughts before heading into your very first game of your third season.
Yeah, it went by fast. You know, I can remember our first show, and now we're on our third season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it goes by fast. And very grateful, very blessed to be coaching my alma mater, the UH Rainbow Warriors. And so, you know, we're excited. The guys are excited. Can't hold them back no more.
Yeah.
And so it's go time.
I know they're just chomping at the bit to hit somebody in a different color.
Yeah, for sure. You know, they get to the point where, you know, it's weights, it's running. It started back in January. One thing about, I think you can ask Coach Thurman, is that they were impressed, man. They were impressed to see the guys work as they did and how they worked, being as hungry as they are. And so all those reps, you know, they had a great summer. You know, they had a great spring, and now it's here. And so very excited.
If you notice, there's a large shadow over Timmy's face, and it's because of that big basket right there. And we want to give that away right now. And Mark, you can come up again and hand it to somebody so we don't block the camera. But this one is going to go to Bea Shimamoto. Yeah, Bea. We're going to walk that out to you. Congratulations. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Again, we will be back here next week at Ruby Tuesday. You can join us live right here at Ruby Tuesday for the radio show and the live to tape TV show. We want to thank Coach Timmy Chang, everybody on your screen that has made this possible, to my broadcast partner, Mark Veneri, to Dan Morrison, to Dennis Thurman, to Stephen Tsai. Mahalo for your time, and good luck on Saturday, Coach. Go Bows.
Go Bows.
Got to take some pictures, I guess. Okay.